Continuing now with the most ludicrous of two stories, the Jethro Ortego story. But now there's a new character, and you'll hear about that in a moment. I've been waiting for him to show up to do the work. J.O. was supposed to come and do pretty much the whole apartment over, according to the LA building inspector. I hadn't heard from him in about a week, and he showed up with a 24-hour notice last week. Henry was here, luckily. And so when he came, an hour and a half late, I opened the door and I told him, "You're an hour and a half late." He was just blown away that I would, call him on that. I said, "We can't just sit around and wait for you like this. You're an hour and a half late." He goes, "Well, may I come in?" And I said, "Yes." And he walked in and Henry was filming him. He goes, "Oh, no filming, no filming." I said, "No, we have the right to. We're going to film you." He said, "Then I'm leaving. You're not going to film me, I'm leaving." And he had someone with him, and they turned around, and they left. So I closed the door. That was the end of that. 2 days later, I got a 24-hour notice that he wanted to come back, and it said in big, bold letters, "No videotaping." But I had called the Southwestern LAPD Detectives Unit and asked to speak to the supervisor. Her name was Detective McCain, and she told me not only was I allowed to videotape him, but that I should, because I'm a woman who's alone, and that if he's not doing the work, I should ask him to stay outside. So I planned to do that, and I got ready. So last Friday I was waiting, and this time, because I had called him on being late, the note said that he would be here between 12 and 3. So I knew he was coming at 3. So at 3:10, the worker shows up without him. He's really nice, really sweet, but then he starts being really inappropriate. He starts calling me girl, and he's about 40. I'm 57. He's calling me girl and kind of acting sexually with me. But my friend Wendy is here. He asked to see what's wrong. I said, "Why don't you have the building inspector's letter or the certified letter that I sent to J.O.?" He said, "Oh, I want to know from you." So I show him everything that needs to be fixed per the building inspector and the things that I would like to have fixed. He goes, "Okay, we'll fix them all." He finds that there's things wrong with the wall, the closet door, the floors, the patio, the wiring, no smoke detectors, on and on and on. He finds so many things wrong. So he's here for an hour and 45 minutes. And I didn't really think about it because I was trying to, talk to Wendy, but it was really inappropriate behavior for a worker. Then at about 5 o'clock, someone knocks on the door, and it's this big guy, and he says, "I'm the housing inspector." I said, "The housing inspector's already been here." He goes, "Oh, I'm an independent housing inspector that they hired." And he gives me his card, and I look at the guy who's the workman. His name's Max, triple X. That's what he tells me. It's triple X. And I didn't even figure out till later. Henry said, that's a sexual reference. But anyway, I said, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" He goes, "Oh, J.O. was supposed to text you." Well, I blocked his number like 3 or 4 months ago, but I doubt he even did try to text me. So anyway, I let the guy in, and he does a very thorough inspection of the place and finds a lot more wrong than even the LA City building inspector. He thinks that there's mold in 2 or 3 places. He says the bathtub needs to be redone. He thinks all the floors need to be redone. He thinks the ceiling looks unsafe. He said, "Don't open it, it's full of fiberglass, which will cut up your lungs." He thinks the patio is done wrong and has bacteria, and the patio roof is wrong. Anyway, after he does this extensive thing, he says, "I should have gotten permission to go on the roof because I think the roof has something wrong with it." Max says to me, "So I want to start the work right away. I want to start getting all this work done because there's a lot to get done." And he goes, "Can I come tomorrow?" And it was Saturday, but I said, "Yes, this Saturday you can come." I said, "So give me your phone number." He goes, "Well, I want you to write it in your own handwriting." I don't want to write it, which now I find that very suspect. Then I just thought he was trying to be cute. So I write it down, and he says, "Text me as soon as you get up. That's how we're going to handle it." I said, "No, I would rather give you my schedule and tell you when I'm available, when I'm not, and we can plan right now and when you're coming next week." He goes, No. Well, how we're going to do it, I don't want to do that. How we're going to do it is you're going to text me as soon as you get up every day that you want me to come." And I was planning on handling that later because I'm not doing that. But I figured I would do it Saturday. So Saturday I wake up and I text him. Never hear from him. Waited all day long, never hear from him. So that was it. I just realized that I had been played. They were playing some kind of game with me. He was just trying to get information. Oh, and when he left in J.O.'s car, which makes me know that they're related or they know each other really well. He's not just some workman that he hired. I wait, I just am on the lookout all week. They don't come at all. Nobody comes. Thursday, right before I'm ready to leave for an appointment, Max shows up at my door, and I'm pretty curt with him because he stood me up. And I said, you stood me up. He goes, oh, I was with my kids. And I said, I really don't care where you were. You need to be professional. You need to handle this professionally. He said, okay, can I come tomorrow at 2? And I said, yeah, but don't be late because I will leave if you're late. And you need to tell me from now on what you will be doing. You need to sign something saying what time you came, what time you left, and what you did. And I would need to see your ID. And I'm going to need a 24-hour notice. And he goes, you need a 24-hour notice now? And I said, no, that's okay. You can come tomorrow, but you'll sign something as soon as you come, and I need to see your ID. So he starts complaining. He has a scowl on his face, and he's complaining. He's like, you're not fun anymore. I said, this is business, and this has gotten really serious. This has turned into, I'm going to have a lawsuit against him, and I still have an eviction open against me that I went down to the courthouse, and they say, well, he never answered it, so it's open until January. So I said to Max, this is pretty serious, so I need to know what you're doing. He goes, I'm going to be bringing 2 smoke detectors and working on the floor. And I said, what about all the serious things like water and the mold and, the door that fell off in the closet and the wiring that's done wrong? He goes, oh, well, that's something we're going to do next week. But he really didn't do anything in all that time he was here. He put up a smoke detector. Well, he did do something, but it wasn't much. Put up a smoke detector, which took a couple of minutes. And he put this big black spiderwebby tape over this outlet that protrudes from the floor. He asked for my measuring tape. He didn't bring one. And he measured something in the kitchen. But whenever we were talking, he would suddenly jump into our conversation and even come and sit in the chair out here. So Max XXX shows up 1 hour and 8 minutes late. I was ready to leave because I wasn't going to let him play this game with me. So he comes up and he's all friendly and forward, and I'm really curt with him. And he keeps saying to me, what's wrong with you? Why did all your joy leave? Why aren't you friendly anymore? I said, well, I don't think I could trust you anymore. You've lied to me just like J.O. has lied to me. And you're late, as usual. I said, I need to see your ID. He said, oh, I don't have it. I said, we talked about you bringing it. I also had told him yesterday that we had set up a video surveillance, so he was always going to be filmed when he was here. And he looked really disappointed about that. So anyway, I said, so what are you going to do? And he said, I'm putting up 2 smoke detectors. And he's trying to joke around with me, and I'm not paying attention to him. I had work to do. I was doing my work online. So he starts talking to himself, just like, I don't know, just kind of childlike stuff. Not about what he's doing, not about anything else. It was very, very strange. He's putting up the smoke detectors. And the next thing I know, I don't hear him. I don't know where he's at. So I go looking for him. I find him standing over the toilet doing nothing. And I say, what are you doing in here? He goes, why are you following me? Which is what he said last Friday when he was here. Why are you following me? I said, well, because I live here and I'm keeping track of what you're doing. And he frowned at me like he always does. He goes, well, I'm going to take a picture of the skylight. I said, well, then do it. He goes, geez, wow, why are you so mean? And I said, we need to keep this professional. He takes a picture of the skylight, takes a picture of the bathtub, and he says he has to take a picture of the 2 things that he just put up. And I said, well, what about the floor outlet that you were going to do? He goes, oh, well, we're going to do that another time. And he goes out to the patio. He starts taking pictures of the patio. And I had asked him for a copy of the building inspector's report, and he said he didn't think he could give it to me. My thought on that is, then we won't be doing any of that work. We'll only be doing the building inspector from LA City's work, not something that we can't confirm needs to be done because I don't have a copy of it and I haven't seen a copy of it and I don't know what the guy said. So we won't be doing that. Anyway, he goes to leave, and I ask him to sign the thing, and then I ask him his last name. And he stops for a second. He goes, Holmes. It took me 1 second to realize Max XXX Holmes? Again, this is a sexual reference. He's talking about that porn star whose name is Holmes, because I looked him up online and I can't find any Max Holmes in LA. So he's lying to me, and he's not coming back in until he shows me his ID and I take a picture of it. I said, so when are you coming back? And he goes, would you quit nagging me? I said, I'm not nagging you. I'm acting professional, and I'm trying to get some specifics from you. He goes, you're such a nag. You've been nagging me the whole time I'm here. How many times have you got to keep nagging me? How long are you going to keep this up? And I said, stop talking to me like that. Talk to me as a professional. And he goes, nag at your husband. Don't nag at me. And I just said, whatever. When are you coming back? He goes, I don't know. I guess I'll know Monday. I said, well, I can tell you my schedule now. He goes, no, I won't need to know that. Well, I'm busy next week. Every day except Friday so far. Whatever. It's turning out more bizarre all the time. And he was really unhappy, and he left.